The World Cup is supposed to be the biggest celebration in football. The flags, the stadiums, the noise, the emotion, the feeling that, for a few weeks, the world stops and watches one game. But behind the spectacle, a major accusation has now exploded around FIFA, and it is aimed directly at President Gianni Infantino. Former Germany captain Philipp Lahm has launched a brutal attack, claiming the World Cup is being sold and that football is being robbed of credibility. And at the center of his concern is one phrase that has now put FIFA under fresh scrutiny: Infantino's closeness to Donald Trump. This is not just another complaint from the sidelines. This is a World Cup winner, a former Bayern Munich captain, and one of football's most respected voices, saying the game is being pulled away from its own fans. So, what exactly did Lahm say? Why is he so worried? And why does he believe FIFA's biggest problem is no longer just about one tournament, but about the credibility of football itself? Let's break it down. The criticism comes while the World Cup is being staged across Canada, Mexico, and the United States this summer. On the pitch, the tournament is delivering drama, but off the pitch, FIFA and Gianni Infantino are once again facing uncomfortable questions. Philipp Lahm, now 42, has been one of Infantino's most vocal critics for years, and according to the latest comments reported from his column in Die Zeit, his view has not softened. In fact, it has become even stronger. Lahm claimed that the World Cup is being sold and robbed of credibility, while describing Infantino's proximity to Donald Trump as most worrying. That alone is a powerful statement, but Lahm went further. He suggested there is a suspicion that powerful football officials may be deriving personal advantages from their offices. He warned that the tournament itself is becoming harder for fans to separate from the organization that runs it. In other words, Lahm is saying the magic of the World Cup is still there, but FIFA's image is making it harder for supporters to enjoy it without discomfort. And this is the key tension. Millions of fans love the game. They love the World Cup. They love the drama of nations fighting for pride, history, and glory. But when the people running the sport are seen as too close to political power, too focused on money, or too distant from ordinary supporters, the tournament begins to feel different. That is exactly what Lahm is warning about. He said football is a perfect means for humanity to negotiate how people live together. But he also warned that the sport is being pulled by figures who may have something else in mind, something he described as shady. Those are not soft words. Those are direct, serious accusations from someone who once lifted the World Cup himself. And this is not the first time Lahm has spoken out. During the last World Cup, he said Infantino simply does not have integrity. He also claimed that the FIFA president was not looking for the best solution in the interests of football and was taking advantage of the game. Now, more than 3 years later, Lahm's position appears unchanged. He still believes FIFA has lost credibility. He still believes Infantino is a central part of the problem, and he still believes the way World Cups are handled must become more transparent. But the most explosive part of Lahm's argument is bigger than one man. It goes back to his anger over the way Qatar was awarded the previous World Cup. In earlier comments, Lahm wrote that the issue was not only about what happened during the tournament itself. He said the child fell into the well 12 years earlier when the tournament was awarded to Qatar under what he called shady and strangest circumstances. That line is important because it shows how deep his frustration goes. For Lahm, the problem is not just one decision, not just one president, not just one controversial relationship. It is the system. He argues that FIFA, as an institution, must finally rely on a reasonable and transparent award procedure in the future. In his view, football itself is not the problem. The problem is FIFA, the body that controls the tournament and makes the biggest decisions. And that is why his latest remarks hit so hard. Because this summer, while fans are watching the World Cup across North America, Lahm is asking whether the tournament's credibility is being damaged behind the scenes. Is the World Cup still primarily about football? Or has it become too connected to power, politics, commercial deals, and personal interests? That is the uncomfortable question at the center of this story. And when Lahm says fans are struggling to separate FIFA from the event, that may be the most damaging accusation of all. Because the World Cup survives on emotion, it survives on belief. It survives on the idea that whatever happens away from the pitch, the tournament still belongs to the fans. But if supporters start to feel that the game is being sold above their heads, that trust becomes fragile. And once credibility is lost, it is very hard to win back. So now FIFA and Gianni Infantino are facing fresh criticism at the very moment when the World Cup should be dominating headlines for football alone. Philipp Lahm's message is clear. The tournament may still be spectacular, but the institution behind it has serious questions to answer. He believes football is too important to be handled in a way that creates suspicion, discomfort, or distrust among fans. And whether people agree with him or not, his comments have reopened a debate that refuses to disappear. Who is the World Cup really for? The fans who fill the stadiums and watch around the world? Or the powerful figures who control the game from the top? For Lahm, the warning could not be stronger. The World Cup is still football's greatest stage. But if FIFA keeps losing credibility, even the biggest show on earth may begin to feel like something has been taken away from the people who love it most.